everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Liz and today I have a tutorial for you guys. I'm going to do a talk through tutorial. I'm going to be featuring this new palette. This is the Pixi Beauty and Chloe Morello Chloette palette, Chloette. So it's kind of like a face palette. It's got eyeshadows, blushes. I don't know. I purchased this at Target and I thought it would be fun to do a tutorial. It's going to be a very neutral tutorial, I can tell you that already. Kind of an everyday look, which is kind of different from what I usually wear, but I thought it would be fun to do. So before I get into it, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and without further ado, let's jump right in. And there will be a giveaway at the end of this video as well. So I'm going to try this new primer by e.l.f. This is their Prep and Blur Stick. This reminds me a lot of the Milk Makeup Blur Stick, so I'm kind of hoping this is a dupe for that. And I use it just the same way I use the Milk Makeup one. I kind of try to go against the pores, so like that's why you saw me going up here to really push it into the pores. Then I'm just going to go in with a finger and really push it in there so all those pores are filled up. Yeah, this feels very similar to the Milk Makeup Blur Stick. Then I'm just going to go in with one more primer. I like to cocktail my primers. The Too Faced Hangover RX, just a moisturizing one, and focus it on all the areas of my face that I didn't put the e.l.f. one. Okay, for foundation today I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation High Coverage Cream Foundation. I have the shade Butter Pecan. So I seriously love this foundation, especially this winter. I'm afraid that I might not love it as much in the summer, so that's kind of why I want to use it a bunch in the winter, because I just have a feeling that when it gets warmer I'm not going to love the full coverage finish and everything like that. I'm not going to love it as much. Maybe I will. We'll see. I'll let you know, but I just have a feeling, you know? I'm just going to conceal with the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, just under the eyes and a little bit on the high points of my face. I'm going to set the whole face with the Milani Prep Set and Glow powder. Okay, moving right along to eyes, I'm going to be using this Pixi and Chloe Morello palette. Chloe collaborated with Pixi Beauty on this palette. It's called Romantic Radiance Palette Chloette. I've been using this a couple times already and I really do enjoy the shadows. They're really good quality, so I'm excited to use this. I'm going to start with the shade Matte, this matte brown taupe shade. And this is a BH Cosmetics Pro No. 5 brush. And I'm just kind of stamping it onto the eye. It looks like a fluffy brush, but it's a little bit stiffer than the average fluffy brush. I really like this brush for my eye shape and for applying especially the base layer of shadow. It just kind of, I don't know, it's just perfect. Okay, so I really like that shade. The formula of these shadows they're pretty hard, which is interesting. I didn't expect that for a drugstore brand. I mean, it is on the more pricey side for a drugstore, but they're very good quality. Not powdery at all. There's absolutely no fallout. And it's a little bit lighter than I thought it would be too. The shadow is really a good base shadow for me. I feel like there's not a matte cream in here, so if you need a matte shade that's lighter than this one, that's not in this palette, but this one is working for me just fine. I kind of do like to set the base and also create a little bit of a shadow at the same time. Now I'm going to go in with this next darker shade called Unity. Just another deep matte brown, and this one is very cool toned. All of the mattes in here, well, there's two browns and a black matte shade in this palette, and they are very cool toned in my opinion. Or at least neutral to cool tone, not warm at all, which normally I like warmer mattes, but this is getting me out of my comfort zone and I don't hate it. So I'm just putting this in here to create a little bit of depth. This is the area of my eye that I like to kind of accentuate, make it look like it's deeper. Okay, now I'm going to take the shade Fairy Tale and start with that on the lid. So I picked this up on my Sonia Kashuk number 106, and I'm just going to spritz this with my Milani setting spray, you know what I mean. I find that these shimmers perform just a little bit better with setting spray. Now I'm going to take this shade here called Swoon, and dusting that on the outer corner, making sure to draw that up into this crease shade. Now, just to show you that you can get a little bit of variety with this palette, I'm going to take this blush shade called Romance and dust that into the crease a little bit too. I'm going to take the shade Honeymoon and go on the inner corner. I'm going to take a very light dusting of Not on the lower lash line, but like really, really light. Just a slight like shadow just to kind of tie the look together, but I don't want to put too much on there because I am going for sort of a natural, everyday look. I'm going to finish off my face and then I'm going to hop off camera to finish off my eyes. So I want to start with blush. I think I'm going to start with this shade Romance for blush. This is pretty much the only one that shows up on its own on my skin tone, so I found that if I want to use the other ones, I have to mix them with this one, which is what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to take some of Promise right here and mix that in. And all of these blushes do have a slight shimmer to them, just really slight though. They're not extremely shimmery. And then for highlight, I'm not sure which ones are supposed to be highlights or if they're all supposed to be kind of both. I find these top two work really, really well as highlights, and they are called Veil, this one here, and Honeymoon. So I'm going to start with Veil, the lightest one. It's really pretty, like gold, white gold shade. I like to pop a little bit up here. Okay, now I'm gonna hop off camera and finish up the eyes and I'll be right back. Okay, eyes are done. I added mascara, eyeliner, and my Ardell magnetic lashes that I am loving so much. So for lips, I have a bunch of these ColourPop, the new Lux lipsticks, and I'm not sure which shade I'm feeling. I'm gonna try the shade What If. It's this super bright pink. I think this will be fun. I feel like a neutral look like this calls for a bright lip, at least for me personally. I like a bright lip. You guys probably have figured that out by now. Since I'm still kind of testing these lipsticks out, I'm not going to use any lip liner. I'm just going to apply them. My lips are slightly moisturized, although I wiped off most of the lip balm. I just want to see how these perform on their own. Alright guys, my look is complete. So my thoughts on this palette, I think this is a beautiful palette and I think these are beautiful products. There's not one shade in here that I don't like, and for some reason when I was looking at it, I didn't necessarily expect to love the quality. I'd never really tried Pixi makeup products before that I can remember, so this was a first. And like I said, I really like the formula of all of these powders. The shimmers are really soft and pigmented. I do think that they perform a little bit better with a wet brush, but the nice thing about them being a little bit less intense without a wet brush is that you can use these as highlighters. And I think that's a really fun thing about this palette, because if you're traveling with this, you have your highlighter, your blushes, your eyeshadows, all in this palette, and I think that is fantastic. That's going to make this a really good everyday palette and a really good palette for travel. It's fairly sturdy. I'm not sure what this mirror right here is about. I don't know what they were thinking we were going to do with that, because I can't do anything with that. I like that I can use the blushes in here for eyeshadows. I don't see myself reaching for this that often, if I'm being 100% honest, because there are only so many looks I can get with this palette. This is now the third time that I've used this, and I feel like I've pretty much done everything I can do with this palette, other than like putting the black all over my lid and getting like a black smoky eye, you know. I don't feel like I'm gonna get that much of a variety with this palette, and for me, I would prefer something that has more variety. However, I know a lot of people are looking for that everyday palette, that palette that they can use on a daily basis to get the beautiful, easy go-to looks, and this is definitely that. This would also be a really pretty wedding makeup palette. I think Chloe was planning her wedding while she designed this palette, so a lot of the shades are very wedding appropriate, which is awesome. But yeah, I think the matte shades in here are really nice, really good quality, easy to work with, easy to blend, but they're not too pigmented. They're very nice for just shading and that kind of a thing. I think it's really cool that she added the 3 shades that she did. yeah, I think this is a nice palette. It's not going to be one of my go-to everyday palettes for creativity, but if I'm looking for something that I can grab and go, you know, travel with, that kind of thing, I do see myself using this for that purpose. So on the back it says blush shades, eye shades, and liner / brow shades. I just noticed that. So I guess you could use these as eyebrow shades. I have used these as eyeliner as well, these darker ones, but I guess you could use them in your brows too if you wanted to. So again, it just makes it all the more versatile, so I think that's really a neat feature of this palette. This palette retails for $24, I believe, so is it worth it? I think it's worth it if you are going to use it every day. If these are the colors that you would wear to work or to school or whatever on a daily basis, then yes, this is definitely worth it. The quality is absolutely there. If you're like me and you venture for more creative looks and you want to go outside your box a little bit, this might not be for you. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think this palette would be for you or if you think you're going to pass on this. And that will wrap up my video. I will be giving away one of these in this video, so to enter my giveaway, click the link in the description box. All of the details will be in the description box for how to enter, how I will be choosing the winner and everything. It is open internationally. And guys, let me know what you think of the look. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you again very soon.